We are here today at Intuit, the Intuit mothership in Mountain View, California. Only 2/3 of Radio-Free QuickBooks, but that's okay. Woody had some meetings back in Plano that he was required to attend, so we won't hold that against him.
We love him.
Yeah, we love him still.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm Stacy Kildal, Kildal Services, and Dawn.
Dawn Brolin with Professional Accounting Solutions, also known as Powerful Accounting.
Excellent.
Excellent.
And we have the wonderful Ronny, and he is here. He's the marketing manager for the Intuit Appcenter. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Okay, great. I'm a group marketing manager for Intuit Appcenter and the Intuit Partner Platform. And I work very closely with app developers, as well as small business customers, as well as folks in our accounting community.
Yes.
What we're doing is essentially bringing on apps that work with QuickBooks into an app store, if you will, called Intuit Appcenter, and making that available for our small business customers.
Yeah, and Ronny and I have worked together. We did some presentations last year at some conferences and some webinars and stuff like that. So my first question is, what is new in the Intuit Appcenter? What's going on?
Oh, yeah.
I haven't talked to you in a while.
That's right. So lots of things are new. Let's see, lots of new apps coming on board. You know, we have some mobile and tablet-based mobile apps coming on board, all doing really well. Invoice ASAP is one that I can think of right off the top of my head.
Oh yes, we met with the CEO.
So
wonderful.
when we met him, I think at Scaling New Heights last year, and we both hugged him. We were so excited when he showed us.
That's a great app.
Love that app.
Okay,
That's
great.
one of our
Hope you
favorites.
didn't catch him by surprise. But
I said, can I hug you?
No, we
So
didn't.
first
We
I have to
warned him.
email my client, and then, can I just hug you? And he
Yeah.
said, yeah, that's fine. So we like Paul.
yeah,
So
that's
sorry,
good.
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so
We're
Paul,
just
actually Paul
excited.
just came back from CES and had a great time showing Invoice ASAP, working with QuickBooks and such.
Oh, that was
Really nice app, right? Because that's something that in today's world where people are very mobile, they can access an invoice straight from their tablet. You guys know this very well.
Yeah.
Right? So that's pretty nice. There's also lots of new apps coming on board to support some of the different functions that small businesses are getting into. ACC Cloud is another one.
Nice.
And I think you guys are familiar with that app as well, where lots of businesses today have an e-commerce site where you bring that transaction back into QuickBooks.
Yep.
Right.
Well, ACC Cloud just does just that, right?
Yep.
So a lot of these apps actually complement some of the functionalities you'll find inside QuickBooks, but you want to do a little bit more, right? So these apps essentially give you that extra functionality to manage inventories like QBO, to do time and billing if you want to do that, from an outside application, keeping your accounting data separate, if you will,
right.
In QuickBooks, but allowing other folks in your field or a service organization to be able to put in their time and such to build our customers.
And I know a lot of people think that the App Center is just for the online version of QuickBooks, but it's not, because Dawn, you were telling me that you have some clients, or you were thinking about getting some clients hooked up with some apps from the App Center through the desktop edition. So
Yeah.
do you want to talk about that and what's new with 2013 and how it integrates with the App Center?
That's right, that's right. So QuickBooks 2013 was released in September, October timeframe.
It's like a birthday present for every year.
There you go. Lots of changes inside QuickBooks 2013, and I think the most obvious one is just the layout and the user interface. It looks very dramatically different. We've modernized it, if you will, right, to what's
and I loved
today's
it.
application.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of the things that we've added is also an easy way to access your apps. So there's a My Apps section on the left nav of that screen.
Yeah.
So now you can see what apps you subscribe to, and also see what apps could be more appropriate for you. Because we're using things like data back targeting, right? Based on the type of company that you are, we'll recommend an app for you. So for example, if you manage inventory, we can see that, and we'll issue or recommend an inventory app. Or if you're using estimates, for example, then you're probably using project management, and we'll recommend that for you. So we're starting to head into that data back targeting where we're showing the right app to the right user.
Nice.
But really, I think one of the most dramatic changes inside QuickBooks 2013, especially for the cloud, if you will, we've started making QuickBooks 2013 a connected app.
Yeah.
In a sense that when you install it, you're now actually required to create an Intuit ID, so you can identify that QuickBooks with you. But you also have the ability to actually sync your data into the Intuit cloud. And so what that means is essentially enable web and mobile apps, right, to work with your QuickBooks 2013, because these apps require access to that data through the cloud. You don't want it hitting your local databases, obviously.
Right.
So, so that's going really well. I can tell you some numbers that shows the acceptance of it. Yeah, typically, before 2013 went out, we had maybe 3,000 sync files going to the cloud on a weekly basis. Last week, we hit another record high, 21,000.
Wow, that's a lot.
That is a lot.
That's right.
And one of the things I like about 2013 is you don't have to leave the program to go look at the apps.
That's right.
And you can do the same thing with QBO. There's a tab right there that says App Center. And I think that's really cool that you don't have to minimize and go to a web browser. It just opens up the App Center directly in both the programs, the applications. So it's pretty cool. It makes it really easy to sign up and find things to make working on your business and working in your business easier.
Exactly. And we're excited to see the customers' adoption of the cloud. The fact that about 65% of all QuickBooks 2013 installs are actually syncing their data to the cloud.
Yeah.
And so this is, I think, a transition, in terms of what folks are doing, wanting data accessible from anywhere, anytime, right, and enabling their QuickBooks to do that.
I think part of it, too, that people are starting to realize the App Center, it's not separate anymore. I think a lot of times, well, at least when it first started, it was kind of like, oh, I'll go do this and do it over here. Now it's really part of what you're doing, but I just find that it's almost like QuickBooks is now the mothership, right, itself, and that these apps are what's working outside, and there's a lot of feedback from clients and customers who are saying that I work with, hey, I've got these 5 guys who are in the field, and I don't want them looking at any of my stuff. That need to, like we were speaking about a little bit earlier on the field service management, where that was only with the 3ES, and now that's a little bit different now. And not having to worry about this user permissions, because we know with Pro and Premier, it's very limited in the permissions you can give and not give. Well, that's what these apps are for. These apps are to get around those kind of areas, but give even more ability for the business owner to analyze what's going on and in a mobile setting.
Yeah.
That's
So
right.
it's kind of just a different, it's taken a different life, I think.
And Dawn and I are big proponents. If you've got to get online, or you're going to get left behind.
You don't want to get left behind. I mean, the View My Paycheck app alone. I mean, I got to say it's one of my favorites because the traditional payroll preparation companies have always had it. But being able to not all of them, but to be able to send their employees to go look at their paychecks before the money even hits their bank account.
I love that.
The employees love that. And so that sounds like a dumb app, and you think, oh, that's so basic. It's critical. Growing your business and letting your employees see what they really need to see.
That's right. That's right. It's really giving small business the option, right? I mean, even if you do sync your data to the cloud, some people might have some privacy concerns around that.
Right.
It's in the Intuit servers, right? Which the security and privacy, obviously.
We call it the circle of trust.
That's right.
And you know what we always tell people is that it's actually probably safer online than it is sitting on your laptop. You can lose your laptop. You can have it broken into. If it's one of the things people say, oh, I don't want to use QBO, or I don't want to do this, or I don't. I think it's safer. You can back stuff up if you are backing up to maybe a local server in your office. If you have something catastrophic happen to that office, your server's gone as well as all of your workstations. So it's really important to get it online.
That's right.
As well. And the other thing I wanted to ask you too was the pro advisors and the accounting professionals. We are big influencers on what the small businesses actually do. How I know you guys have some stuff going on and some stuff being planned, and we don't know when this is going to air, but what do you guys have kind of in the works coming down the pipe to get them more involved and get them engaged? Sure.
So when was it? I guess it was October. We launched an apps program for pro advisors inside the Pro Advisor member website. As part of the PAP Cloud announcement.
Right.
And we introduced 4 apps essentially in that program so that pro advisors can get easy access to these programs. And each of those developers gave a special exclusive program for pro advisors, ranging from discounts to free access to 1 hour consultation or a couple of hours consultation to get that ramped up. So we're adding more apps to that program.
Nice.
So in January this year, actually just a couple of weeks ago, we launched 3 new apps onto that program. So now there's 7, and we'll continue adding more apps there.
And which ones are they?
They are they're ECC Cloud, eBility, and what was the third one? Oh, Concur, the expense management app. You guys use those?
I love Concur.
Concur is great.
I can't wait for the QBO Concur. I'm hoping that comes soon.
That's right. And we'll continue adding more apps. There's another round of new apps coming on board in another few weeks.
Cool.
One of the things we want to do with that program, obviously, is allow the pro advisors who want to grow their practice. What better way of growing their practice than learning it through apps, right? Because there's extra functionality outside of QuickBooks that you can sort of tip your toe and see
Right.
whether you're interested in that area or not.
And that's
Yeah.
one of the things that we always suggest, and so does, so do people like Joe Woodard and Doug Sleater. Find something that you can specialize in. Third-party apps are a really good option for doing that,
That's right.
and become the expert in that, and that will allow you to grow your business that way too.
Yeah, that's right. And so one of the things we want to do is actually make it easy for professional accountants and pro-advisors to learn these apps. So one of the things that's going to come out, the first seminar series of App of the Month webinar series, with the first app webinar being on February 28th.
Nice.
Awesome.
Yep. So essentially every month, from then on, we'll have a special app essentially highlighted for that week.
That's great.
And they can sign up for the webinar 1-hour session. And if they attend the live webinar session, extra bonus, you can get CPE credit for that as well.
Nice.
Right. So we'll continue doing that and get feedback on what type of apps that community wants to come onto that platform. So and then start adding those guys onto the platform.
That's
really
really great. I love that. Everybody likes free CPE.
There you go.
What about the reviews?
Oh, that's right. As you guys know, every app that comes on board, there's actually a couple of things that that should alleviate some of the concerns maybe that some small businesses have about the apps. First of all, even though the data is synced into the cloud, right?
Right.
Every time you subscribe to an app, as you know, the small business has to give authorization right for that app. So there's sort of like double security. That do you elect to have your data in our cloud or not? Even if it's there, every time you sign up for something that might use that data, you have to give it permissions.
Right.
So the other piece is every app that comes on board to Appcenter gets reviewed by a professional. It's one of you guys, essentially.
Very nice.
Yeah, and what I do is I look at, I ask you guys what your areas of expertise are, right? And as these apps come on board, I look to see, okay, who's the expert in this area, and I'll assign essentially an expert to review that app. So every app, the first review of that app will be a professional advisor, essentially reviewing the app and say, hey, what type of businesses would benefit from this app? What are the pros and cons, et cetera, and how, where does it best fit in?
Right.
Yeah, what works, what doesn't work.
That's right. And small businesses like that, right? Because we can say, or the developer can say whatever they want about that app.
Right.
Yeah.
But I know that when I go on e-commerce or other things, I look at the peer reviews, right?
Exactly.
The customer reviews and such to see what the people like me think about this app.
Exactly.
Right.
Love it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Do you have any other questions?
I don't have any other questions. I love the App Center, and I really love that not needing to touch the QuickBooks file feel. And having it on the phone or having it on the iPad, I just think we just set a client up with eight iPads for guys going out in the field, and they bought 8 iPads. We set them up with Concur, and with that duty, we set them up, and they're off and running, and those guys will never touch QuickBooks.
And you don't need to. That's why I love that.
Yeah, great. And so, by the way, not only are the apps good for pro advisors and professional accountants to grow their practice, but there's also a little bit of incentive in there, right? So some of those developers actually have some financial incentives for you to
like
use the app
affiliate
and recommend.
programs.
Affiliate programs, right?
Right.
And we also have actually as part of that program that we launched, an incentive program. So if you recommend 3 apps to your clients, then there's a $300 bonus for you. Just tell us who they are.
I'll apply. That might have been one that slipped through the cracks for me.
That's right.
Yeah,
So
stuff
we're trying
happens.
to make that easy, right, for pro advisors to learn
Right.
about new things, new functions, new apps and such, and help them grow their practice.
Right.
And we'll smooth it a little bit with some financial incentives as well.
We like
We love smoothing. We're okay with smoothing.
We're good with it.
Yeah.
All right, anything else you want to add?
No, as always, it's great to be on your show.
I know, we love
Thank you
having
so much for taking the
It's fun to be
time.
out here.
I appreciate
Yeah,
it.
mothership.
All right, we're going to do what we do at the end of all of our show. We're going to hold our shot for editing. So we just want to thank you guys, RFQTv and Radio Free QuickBooks. Thanks for listening with Ronny Tay from the Intuit Appcenter. So we'll hold our shot. 3, 2, 1.